Once upon a time in a town, there lived an old man who had been earnestly making shoes since he was young, living with his wife. In his younger days, he could work from morning till night without feeling too tired. But lately, finishing just one pair by lamp when the sky grew dark with rain or clouds was considered a great achievement. The old man was skilled, but his style was slightly out of fashion, so even when he managed to make shoes and display them in his shop, they hardly sold. The old man and his wife were leading a difficult life. Then one day, it finally came to the point where after making this pair of shoes, there would be no more leather left to make the next pair. This will be the last pair of shoes. I'll do my best to make them good. With this thought, the old man began to cut the leather carefully, following the pattern. Sure enough, it took time, and his hands grew dark. By the time he finished cutting, it was too late to thread the needle and begin sewing. So he decided to continue the next day. The old man neatly laid out the cut leather on the work table, and went to eat the dinner his wife had prepared. The next morning, the old man went to his workshop and was astonished. The leather he had cut the day before was now a pair of beautifully stitched shoes, masterfully completed. He called his wife loudly in, admired the careful, sturdy shoes that also incorporated the latest fashion. These will surely sell at a good price. How wonderful, how wonderful. But, who could have? I wonder. As the old man expected, the shoes were sold for a surprisingly good price to a gentleman that same day. With that money he went to buy enough leather for 2 pairs of shoes, and he carefully cut the leather, but since it was getting dark, he laid out the leather on his desk and left his workplace. The next morning when he went to his workplace, sure enough, just like the day before, there were 2 lovely pairs of shoes, 1 pair for a young lady, and 1 stylish pair for a gentleman, perfectly made. And once again both pairs sold for a pleasant price. The old man was both surprised and delighted, so with that money he went to buy enough leather for 4 pairs of shoes. When he returned he carefully cut the leather into shapes for shoes and left his workplace again. Sure enough, the next morning, adorable children's shoes, chic women's shoes, sturdy work shoes, and comfortable lightweight shoes were all neatly made. Since this was happening every day, both the old man and the old woman couldn't just be happy. They began to wonder who was doing this for them and wanted to find out. So the 2 decided to leave the workshop once that night and then sneak back in at midnight to peek inside. When the workshop clock struck 12, they saw something moving where the cut leather was placed. Strangely enough, a lamp without oil was lit, illuminating the area. And there were 2 naked elves. Both the old man and the old woman were utterly astonished. The elves sang, "Work, work, make good shoes, we are shoe fairies, working for the hard-working old man, making shoes until morning." They quickly sewed the leather, shaped it with small hammers, polished the shoes with a squeak. And in no time at all, they had made magnificent shoes. When the shoes were completely finished, the 2 elves blew out the lamp's flame and vanished into the dim light of the approaching dawn. The 2 sat quietly at the table, gazing at the shoes the elves had made. Suddenly, the old woman said, "Hey, Grandpa, those 2 elves were naked, weren't they?" "Yes, that's right. They said they were shoe fairies. I wonder if they don't feel the cold. I'll make 2 small sets of clothes today. They must feel cold after all." "That's a good idea. Then I'll make small shoes for them." The two quickly started making small clothes and shoes, and that night they gently placed them on the table in place of the cut leather. The two were again watching the workshop from the shadow of the door. When the clock struck 12, the elves came again, lit the dim lamp without oil, and were surprised to see the clothes and shoes on the table. They quickly put on the shirts and trousers made by the old woman, along with cute vests, and tried on the leather shoes made by the old man. The two were overjoyed, linking arms, skipping, singing, and starting to dance. Nice clothes, great shoes. We are shoe fairies. Working for the hard-working old man, sewing-skilled old woman, a gift from the two, we'll cherish it, thank you. Both the old man and the old woman were very happy. And as the elves left the workshop, singing and dancing, they never appeared again. However, the old man's shoes continued to sell. And the old man and old woman lived happily ever after. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up.